I think it's becoming more and more apparent that we have entered the new American McCarthyism era. People are being routinely and openly punished for their views and opinions. The latest example of this is a shocking report from Just the News, which is a great outlet. They've exposed the FBI asking about whether or not people questioned the COVID vaccine when the FBI was doing their security clearance checks. And they also asked about whether or not employees supported Donald Trump. This is the story from Just the News. FBI officials conducting a top secret security clearance review for a longtime employee asked witnesses whether that employee was known to support former President Donald Trump, if he had expressed concerns about the COVID-19 vaccine, or had attended a Second Amendment rally. So if you were any of those things, that might red flag you. According to the FBI's security clearance, your political view, if you supported a president of the United States, if you were skeptical of big pharma vaccines, and if you actually are pro-Second Amendment, a right that's enshrined in our Constitution, then you potentially are un-American, and you potentially need to be red flagged, and we're going to look into you for terrorism, potentially. You might, or you might just have the propensity to become a terrorist. The employee's security clearance was revoked. So this is, they got a hold of, this was a particular case that they're showing this example of. The employee's security clearance was revoked months after the interviews, which confirmed that his support for Trump and gun rights and his concerns about the COVID vaccine, according to the documents obtained by Just the News, was like the reason for potentially for his security being revoked. The memos showed that agents for the FBI Security Division asked at least 3 witnesses in the spring of 2022 whether the employee, whose name and job title was redacted from the memos, had been known to vocalize support for President Trump or vocalize objections to COVID-19 vaccination. Can you believe this? So if you question the vaccine, you're potentially an enemy of the state. You can't have a security clearance. We can't trust you. If you don't trust us, and everything we're doing is the government, then we can't trust you. Maybe that's fair. The latter questions about the vaccine were asked in the spring of 2022, a few months after the U.S. Supreme Court had struck down vaccine mandates in corporate workplaces, and a separate federal court had issued an injunction on federal employee vaccine mandates. The agents also asked witnesses whether the FBI worker had attended the Richmond Lobby Day event in January of 2021, which is a rally for supporters of the Second Amendment in Virginia. The agent's notes referred to the colleague they were vetting as a gun nut. So they were looking for the gun nut, but who engaged in no promotion of violence, is what they said. So can you believe that? The FBI declined to comment when Just the News reached out to them. But in a letter to the DOJ Inspector General, the FBI employee's lawyer, Tristan Levitt, revealed his client made protected whistleblower disclosures to both Congress and the DOJ about the politicization of the security clearance process, which he alleged was put through simply because he self-reported having taken a vacation day to go to Washington, D.C. for the January 6, 2021 rally. So he was a whistleblower saying, they're kind of politicizing this whole security clearance thing. And the FBI, I'm sure, was like, no, we're not. No, we're not. And then we get these memos. And it turns out they say, so do you support Donald Trump? Are you skeptical of the COVID vaccine? Do you believe in your right to own a gun? Well, man, I don't know if we can give you security clearance. This is insane. This is very scary that it's gotten to this. I don't think this is the first time. And I don't think this is I do think that this type of McCarthyism that we're dealing with right now is newer. I don't think they were going after people that were gun nuts before, or supporters of Republican presidents, or COVID, big pharma skeptic. I don't think they were going after these people before. I think in the past, they probably were looking for the liberals, the tree huggers, there were other groups that they were keeping their eye on, thinking that they were un-American, those who were opposed to war. The anti-war voices still are, and have always been the ones that the FBI looks at and says, I don't know about you. You can't be trusted. You don't believe in the great American pastime. Oh, what did you think it was? Because it's war. That's what the great American pastime is. So this is really scary, but it's and this is stuff that we've been talking about on this show multiple times. We've talked to several FBI whistleblowers who've said, look, they're going after Catholics, they're going after parents at parent-teacher, at the conferences where the parents were angry, saying, hey, we don't want our kids to be masked up all the time, and we want you to open the schools back up. And they're labeling all these people as terrorists. We've seen that they've definitely been going after everybody on January 6th. They go after anybody who questions the elections. They go after anybody who questions any narrative that the government puts out there. So if you question anything the government says, then you're potentially an enemy of the state. When really it seems that the government itself has become the enemy of the people. And that is something that we will continue to report on and continue to talk about here on this show, because we need to expose this, because we got to take our country back. We can't be allowing the elites, the deep state, the powers that be to be just eroding every right that we have, and telling us that we need to become robots, just gobbling up everything they tell us, or else we're enemies of the state. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why I do not work in mainstream news. They would never let me. Thank you for watching this clip from the full Kim Iverson show, which you could catch just by heading to that link down below, KimIversonShow.com. You can watch the full show from what you just watched, or you could catch the full show live Monday through Friday, live streams, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern at KimIversonShow.com. See you then. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Never miss an episode. Never miss a clip. Never miss a segment. Thanks, guys.